Welcome to Balls and Brews. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
You guys, pod 80. Cheers.
Oh, that's tasty. What are we sipping on, Charlie?
That's got a lot of flavor on the back end of it. It's called, sorry, everybody, My Friday by Auburn Ale House, and it's a pretty sweet can. It's a hop. But it's like in a neon, right? It's like supposed to mimic a neon sign would be my guess.
Classic bar sign.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
So 6.5. It is. It's got a lot of fruit on the back end. It does live up to it actually being juicy. Starts off IPA up front, but way more of like flavors. What do they reference here on the can?
Aroma's a lemon lime, but candied with pineapples from
Okay.
Cashmere.
It is sweet.
Strata
Do you know you get that little sweetness right there? Mm-hmm. Nice. Good job, Auburn. Obviously, Auburn out of Auburn, California. Right over the hill.
Right over the hill. It's a great stop.
Yeah, good food. Good beer. 6.5 if I didn't mention that. So nice one to start with. Not too light, not too heavy.
A little fruity.
Thumbs up. Yeah, thumbs up after first impression.
Yeah, very good. Right up my alley. I'm digging it. I'm all about it.
Downey, what have you been sampling recently?
Excuse me.
Anything new?
Well, yeah, we did. I hadn't had it. Maybe we had it. So we had that porter on
The Bacon and Eggs by
on Friday from
Pizza Port.
That was delish.
Imperial
like
Coffee
Pizza Port.
Porter,
But it was
didn't,
way not as much coffee
and it mellowed
as
really
that coffee
nice.
beer we had last week.
Oh yeah,
Way
that
better.
Cat Pacino was like drinking fucking
Yeah.
grinded up,
Yeah, so
coffee beans.
that was tasty. And then I think we've had it on pod. I think it just had a different label. It was Ride the Bike or
riding a bike. Yeah,
from,
close
like,
by
from
Urban Roots. Yeah,
And
yeah.
It was a West
That's
Coast.
their flagship IPA.
It was really good.
Yeah.
Oh, Urban Roots.
And then Kolsch, we had that Kolsch.
Yeah, that was Pizza Port as well,
that
right?
was Pigeon.
That was Pigeon Head.
That
Shout
was
local.
Pigeon
That's
Head.
right.
Dude, that one was tasty.
That's right,
I didn't
that's
have
right.
the other Pigeon Head IPA that was there. Did you?
Fly by Night. I've had it before.
I didn't have it that
They
night.
do. That's a traditional West Coast, and they also do a spicy version of it where they put jalapeno in it, and it's jalapeno. I'll say it correctly. They do have it's the right amount of spice, as it were, in the sense of like it's not overpowering, and you can drink it without like your mouth actually feeling hot, as it were. You know what I mean? But it does give you that there's a pepper in it. But it was balanced. We split one, my pops and I. So I only had 8 ounces of it. We only split a boy just like this. So I had 8 ounces of it. It wasn't even technically a full beer, but that was enough. It was good. But with it unhot, just a regular West Coast, it's it's passable. It's not one of my favorite by Pigeon Head. I like their red rye, their black lager we had the other week was really good. And
The
then
red rye's like top of the line.
I brought over the one we're going to be sampling a little later in Rad Little Thing by Sierra Nevada.
Good series. Way better than like the OG Sierra Nevada stuff. The Little Things series is hot. It's kind of like how Voodoo's kind of taken over.
One in the same.
New Belgium.
It's a rebrand without rebranding kind of thing, right? Like it's like a specific vein that they do so much in, and we've had like 4 or 5 different versions of Little Things on the pod, and they've all been good. So yeah, we'll get to the Rad one a little later. Down at Pub and Sub just yesterday, watching Nevada beat Fresno State in basketball. Whoop, whoop. We watched the Texans absolutely crush the Chargers, which we'll get into a little later. Yeah. But shout out to them just for being like so fucking nostalgic. Dude, you walk in there, that bitch ain't changed in 25 years, bro. That's the same ass establishment, dude. They haven't even upgraded the TVs. The only thing they changed is the beers, and thank God for that. We had some Downtown Brown, though.
Yeah, that's
a good one.
Fantastic,
That's a
yeah.
good
Some hazy little thing. They had that on tap, so we were sipping that. And then Revision, which I told Trevor the story, if you want to put this on pod, of how Parlay came to, Parlay 6 got their name.
Yeah, so we were at Bighorn Tavern one night, and Angelique got a Parlay 6, And the guy said, "Oh, you've been to the brewery?" And I was like, "Oh man, it's local." And he goes, "Yeah, it was 6 brewers that left Revision and went over to Parlay 6 to start Parlay 6."
Well, so if you know anything about like beer, especially in the Reno market, Revision they've pushed out. They've expanded beyond like localness. Not like California, Oregon, like Washington, still West Coastish. They're not national, but like they're the one that's gotten out of Reno. You know what I mean?
Didn't you have a Parlay 6 the other night too at Bricky's?
I did. I had an IPA that I started with because I was curious, and obviously after you told me this story, like Revision is renowned for their hoppy beers. Like that's what they do. They made that really good barrel aged we had a couple weeks ago. So I don't want to say that they can't do dark, but they are definitely known for their hops. And it was nice. Shout out to 805 for being there when I wanted like a beer, but I didn't want like a heavy beer and I didn't want a Coors. Like it's a 5%er that drinks kind of closer to an amber rather than just like a lager, like a fucking cold lager or whatever. So shout out to Firestone for getting that one right, because that's a easy drinking beer. Put down like another 4 of those after the Parlay 6. But shout out to Parlay for breaking off and starting that. You've been good so far. We'll probably now at this point we'll have to bring some onto the pod and show you guys what we're talking about. But yeah, man, there's some good beer over the last couple of days.
Trev, you been crushing any new beers?
I mean, the other day we tried. I was out pumping some with him, but that was it. I haven't had much more.
Well, let's jump into those playoffs, boys. Those games were hot. Each one was really good. I thought, squanders on all sides. Play calling was questionable everywhere, but other than that, they were good games. Notre Dame comes away with the big win, 27-24. Me and Team Money called that one. Charlie couldn't get on board with that one, but he gets his roses in a little bit. Riley Leonard goes 15 for 23 for 223. 1 tutty, but 2 picks.
That game was intense, man.
Dude, it was intense because remember he
started off a little lackluster and it finished just epically. Like,
well, remember he went out with that concussion, and that other kid came in and went 6 for 7 for 44, and didn't he get him in field goal range?
Yep, sure did. Yeah.
So I mean, and they ran the ball all right. One kid, Love, 45 yards on 11 carries. Riley had 18 carries, but only 35 yards.
18 carries is probably because most of them were scrambles, if you will.
Yeah, well, we knew.
I know they had some design plays.
We knew Penn State's D line was crazy. That Carter dude shelled out.
Yeah.
Their D line was off the hook. They were all over him. But Penn State really, Notre Dame fucking came out, dude. They came alive in the second half. First half, you were like, oh shit, where's this fucking game going?
Yeah.
And then
when it was 10-0 with possession, I thought Penn State was going to put their foot on their throat, and it did not happen that way.
And I picked Notre Dame, but this isn't the way I saw it going. Like, they had to pass, which isn't thought to be their strength, to come back really, and because of the lead that they had lost, or since they were down so much.
Yeah, sometimes you have to.
And I mean, it just worked out their way.
Well, and I thought
both of these teams really
Penn
close.
Penn State's
though.
offense was anemic.
Allard did not do himself favors.
After shouting out Allard last week, he comes out and only has a $135. He doesn't hit any wide receivers. Warren had 6 catches for 75. That dude, first round tight end, whoever picks him, you're getting a fucking hell of a player right there.
It certainly seems that way. He has all of the optics. He passes all of the eye tests. So that should be he'll be the first TE off the board, no doubt.
No doubt. And they ran the fuck out of the ball. So remember, we Singleton, number 10, 15 for 84 with 3 tutties. Allen was 19 for 82. So they both went crazy. They both had 80. Dude, you had 160 yards rushing the football.
And if you could have gotten $150 and 1 tud out of your quarterback, you would have won that game.
Yeah,
like if you didn't throw one tud, 1 pick, no tuds out.
One pick he got at the end of the game, but he got lucky. The one
there
was
were a couple.
The one was holding
yeah.
the end zone. The second one wasn't a penalty. That was
it was a ticky-tack call.
The one on Warren where he went up and there was the 2 guys and they were like, he was like falling down anyway, and the guy was like, he was trying to make a play at the ball as much as he could.
Yeah, and they called it a pass interference. So Allard didn't really impress, which I was shouting him out. But maybe
unfortunate.
That's the reason he's going back, man.
Sure.
You got to stir up. You can't look like NFL quarterback one game.
It's the reason why Ewers probably needs to go back, even though he is still, kept amongst the top 5 QBs coming into this class.
But it's a soft class.
It is. Well, especially off the back of what last year produced. We had instant, differences in those teams. The Commanders are in the playoffs. Bo Nix is playing as we speak.
Did you watch his feet, Charlie, after I said that? How he never, they never look set. Where
I think it also might have to do with, I don't think he trusts his offensive line. I don't think that offensive line in Texas is as good as they need it to be.
Dude, he walked into some stupid-ass sacks, dude. He didn't play very good.
He didn't read the pocket rolling out versus stepping up, you got to know where you're escaping.
Ohio State 28, Texas 14. It was 14-21 with Texas going into drive. What's his name? Jack Sawyer hits the quarterback, fumble, picks up the fumble and takes it.
What a
play. That was a crazy
80 yards for fucking 7. Play. So that's why it's 28. The game was close. I thought both teams shot themselves in the foot multiple times through the game. Texas is Quinn Ewers missed so many balls, and then when he would hit them, guys would be dropping them.
A lot of blocks too.
Yeah,
block passes.
The nicest way I can put it is he looked uncomfortable. It looked more like he was confused sometimes, which, that's Division I at the cream of the crop. So he's basically playing an extension of pro football, Yeah. So you got to be elite to be at that level. But he looked like Texas he was getting confused out there and missing routes.
Yeah, Texas defense played really good too.
They kept him in the game.
Will Howard ended up having 289 in yards, but he had a pick and a tutty. But even Trayvon had 6 rushes for 42, and the other kid had 9 for 36. Judkins. And then Henderson
had that breakaway at
1 for 75.
Yeah,
he took that screen for a 75.
Oh, that was a pass.
At the end of the first half.
Right. Yeah, with 12 seconds left in the first half.
How do you give that up?
Yeah.
That totally changed the game. Texas just went down, got a touchdown. You're like, oh, shit.
Yeah, you thought it was going to be,
And then, boom, gone.
You thought it was going to be 7.5, and it was 7-14.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a swing of momentum. Yeah, Ohio State was the better team, at least, in most major metrics.
Dude, Texas's defense kept the Jeremiah Smith kid to 1 reception, 3 yards.
2 yards, right? 3 yards, yeah.
And then the kid that's probably going to be the third receiver, Mbika, he went 5 for 51. The Tate kid, the third receiver, is a guy that ended up going 7 for 87.
Well, there you go. So, basically what they did is they decided who they were going to take away and did so.
They did so and still were right. Dude,
good job on Will Rogers for fucking feeding his other dudes, not trying to – Will Howard, yeah, you're right. Will Rogers was the Huskies quarterback, which he ain't going to be able to come back, but he's not getting drafted neither, so don't need to talk about him too much. But, you got to adapt, right? When they're specifically taking away your number one option, you got to feed the other guys. And Mbuka was supposed to be the number one this whole season. And then Smith, thank you, kind of just took the spotlight and never let it go. Jeremiah Smith. Yeah,
and you got 2 running backs in Ohio State and
Henderson
and Judkins.
Ohio State always has at least one good running back,
but they
right?
Got 2 that are going to be coming out this year, and they are both going to go. I'm putting it on wax. I think there's going to be at some point either second or third round where you go 4 or 5 running backs in a row.
The run will happen,
but it's going to be crazy because all of a sudden the one's going to go. It'd be like, we got to get our dude.
That's how tight ends went last year.
It's going to go those Penn State dudes and those Ohio State dudes are all going to go so close to each other.
There's always that weird position when it starts, you'll see 2, and then you're like, if that third team pulls, it's a run.
It's usually the same with cornerbacks seem to do the same
Yes, thing. Because there's normally large gaps after, once you miss that second tier, you're only going to get a first-tier guy in the top 10. So if you're not there and you're hoping for the second-tier guys and you see the run go on that position, you might trade up. That's where you see desperation trades come into play.
Ewers did go 283, 2 tutties and a pick.
I just really,
he
did not look overly impressive.
He didn't look impressive.
He didn't
either.
Did he? He looked uncomfortable. I don't know. Didn't look good to me.
Then they got the kid 23, 5 receptions, 59 yards. He had the 2 touchdowns.
Blue, the running back.
Blue, dude. He's the running back. He's like their scat because the other kid's more the pounder.
Right, the run downhill kind of guy.
Yeah, Blue's kind of the scat back, but he's impressive.
Yes, as far as receiving backs go, Texas has got it.
Yeah. So long story short, we have the best USC matchup you can envision in the national title.
This
sucks. Is the one matchup I was rooting against.
I wanted Notre Dame to beat Penn State because I can't have my friend have the Eagles and Penn State get there.
Oh shit!
But now I still probably have to pull for Notre Dame. I can't fucking root for the Ohio State.
Did you see news that their left tackle is out of the title game?
Yeah.
Ohio State?
Notre Dame.
No, Notre Dame.
Dame's
Oh,
beat up.
God.
Remember, because then they lost their defensive tackle in the first game.
Yep.
He might, I don't know if he's able to go drop, but he's good. Then they lost another defensive tackle in the second game who was their, other stud. And now they lost their left tackle, dude. Yeah, Notre Dame's kind of getting the injury report going here.
The injury bug is seals.
But I'm stoked, dude. It's been a good playoff overall, man. Those games are
Thank God they've gotten to where we wanted them to be. The opening round was not very
I
enthralling,
think if you
but
just change your 1 through 4 and all that bullshit and who gets buys, I think the opening round ends up being good.
Boise
games.
State and Arizona State should have not been 3 and 4.
And then they could
not that they didn't deserve the tournament, but they didn't deserve 3 and 4.
And maybe they could have played like an SMU or somebody wherever the rankings fell, and you get better
yes,
games
you make that
way,
opening game a little bit more compelling.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Not
You're going to
really-
get one of the underdogs,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel it.
Do we think the national championship's going to be better than the last 2 games we saw?
No.
The last 2 natties or the
No. I'm talking about.
I hope so because the
what we
last
just
couple
had.
natties have been terrible.
I do think I got more look.
I think this is a good matchup, though. I hate it, but I think it's a
Notre
good
Dame's
matchup.
cornerbacks and defensive backfield look what they did to the Penn
And
State
the
receivers.
storylines are so
I know
juicy.
Penn
they're
State
not-
receivers, that's
I know
night
they're
and
not
day.
Ohio State receivers, but I bet they give those Ohio State receivers a pretty good run for the money.
Well,
It's
I
a
mean,
compelling
they have
matchup,
really good
dude.
defense.
It's more
They
the defense.
Turn the ball over.
It's more the defense. You're going to need Notre Dame's going to need a turnover or 2 on defensive side of the ball, and you're going to have to end up. Riley Leonard's going to have to end up having another 18 to 20 fucking carries because you're going to have to really try to be making sure that they're not coming downhill on him.
That
you're
hasn't
really going to have to
been
keep him
as effective as I thought it would be these last 2 games for Notre Dame.
He did good the game before. Last game they kind of, but you're going against another really good defensive line at fucking Ohio State, man. Look at how many edges you got. Sawyer coming out. The other kid that's the Tui Soap is like Tuasio.
Yeah, it's got a
coming
difficult
out.
name.
You got a couple
That's
dudes.
it. That's
Sorry,
it.
I definitely.
Dude, I butcher names. We butcher names. I'm sorry. It's
yeah.
we mean no disrespect. It's just in case you hear this.
I think you're more around the 28-14 mark. Ohio State probably getting the win, but I'm definitely rooting for Notre Dame. That's just my feeling.
Oh, God, I think I'm in that same boat. I don't.
I can't have
To
Ohio
root
State.
between the 2, I probably root for Notre Dame, but I don't like their chances. I mean,
I just don't. Dude, they don't.
I
have
hope
that.
it's a good game.
I like the storylines coming out of Notre Dame with Marcus Freeman.
Dude, I think
and,
he's
like,
a fucking.
He's clearly
He's
an
a fucking
amazing
hell of a
coach.
coach,
He has to be because Mr. Kelly sat there and was like, "I want to be in an environment where I can win championships."
Times have
Notre
changed
Dame's
quite
about to do
quickly
it,
with
sure. But
NIL
LSU has
in
fallen
the portal.
the fuck off.
He's got to.
Yeah.
He's got to be getting some looks in the NFL. I think he's a leader.
Right. So it depends on if they want to buy out his college contract or not. That's
Or
basically
whether
what
he
it
just
has
wants
to
stay at
mean.
the ND because at that point you're top dog.
You know, this is where the argument right now comes into play as far as like if you're at a blue blood and
Why
you're
leave?
you're making cheddar, you got kids coming to you, you got the machine rolling.
Yeah.
Why would you leave? Like the NFL
And the
is
money's
what have
gotta
you
be
done for
close.
me lately? You have one bad year, you're shit canned. In college, if you give a national title run or something close to, they're gonna keep you like year after year, and they're gonna pay you, and like you can build programs that
That's why I
way.
hope that Dillingham kid, not kid.
Like the
he's
talk of
British.
firing Ryan Day is asinine, dude.
Yes,
when
asinine.
when you have under 10 losses in your entire fucking career at a school,
Can't beat Michigan,
like,
Chuck. Can't beat Michigan.
I understand. Where's Michigan? Where's Michigan?
Beat
they're
Alabama
on
in the
the
fucking bowl
couch.
game, dude.
Who cares? Who cares? Well, unfortunately, that's the sad thing about the bowl games now. They've been so degraded. Like literally nobody cares outside of the playoff games now,
you can
right?
just re-rank it.
But long story short, dude, like I think this is a great matchup for football. For football fans, it's going to provide some good offense, some good defense, maybe some oohs and ahs when it comes to turnovers and sacks and stuff like that. Should be a close game. I think OSU is going to win it, though. I think they're the better team, and I do think that
It's going to be on this game. I think it really is. Can Notre Dame's D line with it being kind of beat up a little bit? How much how much can they stop the run to where you don't have to bring somebody else up and leave those safeties deep to take away the receivers?
Sure.
Can you stop the run without
Good
having
call.
to bring an eighth person up in the box?
Not even eighth, the sixth or seventh. You know what I mean?
Can you stop with 2 linebackers and 4
Right,
defensive linemen?
right. In a 4-3, can you stop in a 4-3 coverage, basically?
Yeah,
you
but
know?
you might be in more of the nickel most of the game.
Probably.
But
That's traditionally what colleges move
that's
to
what-
anyway.
That's what
like-
you're gonna have. If Notre Dame can not get chunks of Henderson and Judkins, you can
Just
you
Judkins.
Judkins. Sorry,
Judkins.
You can
Judkins.
You can. Take,
I like that name
I think
better,
you
if
can-
I'm being honest.
I think you can hang with them if you start giving up a ton in the run and you have
Ton
to
in the
start
run.
bringing
Don't give
somebody
up
else
a ton in the run.
You're fucked.
Yeah,
That's why I worry that this
I agree. See, I
could
agree.
be like maybe not as bad as when they played Alabama, but man, I have some of those feelings. Like I'm worried.
I think this team's better than that team. I think, and I don't think that.
Okay,
I don't
want
think
Notre
this-
Dame, think OSU. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
So jump. Like, we haven't talked a lot of NBA lately.
That's true. We got to give a little shout.
Our college football and everything else has been so hot.
Well, this time of year is
it's football
epic
time.
for football. Yeah,
And
for
really,
sure.
none of us
For
have
sure.
really dove in. I don't think to the NBA. Nothing's hooked us.
I have tried. I've put on NBA ones. I love NBA on TNT. The gang. I wish the gang wasn't. That's the best part of basketball. Is Chuck, Kenny, Charles, Shaq and Ernie.
Yeah.
They're great. Most of the time now they're not even talking basketball, which is great. They're just sitting there at the panel just shooting shit because they know who gives a shit. Like, this is our last swan song. Bring them back.
But the Cavs rolling in the East and the Thunder
Murdering
rolling in
it.
the West,
They have
dude.
4 losses. They are 33-4.
Dude, that's insane.
So
That is insane.
Boston is at 27-11, and New York is at 25-14. Those are your top 3,
So
which
New
is
York's finally-
right where we had them. Yeah, New York's gelling finally.
Finding some rhythm.
That roster is figuring out how to play together, and they got talent, dude. And they've been relatively healthy. Knock on wood.
Did we all have them? I don't have it in front of me. Did we all have them number 1 in the East, or did I have?
I did.
think
No, I didn't do one because I
I
think
might
did.
have had him one.
I think I did Celtics at 1. I think I did.
I don't have it in
I
front
think
of me.
I
I'll
still
have
the
to pull that
Celtics at
up.
1. But Milwaukee is 20-16-4. Orlando is 22-18. So they've played 4 more games at number 5. So they're basically tied for the 4th spot right
Just
there.
getting Varcow
4
back,
and 5.
Yeah.
Huh?
Just getting Paulo.
Yeah, at the perfect time.
call, Trev.
This is absolutely, Pablo Blanchero has absolutely taken a couple of steps forward since being drafted, and if he stays healthy, that team could be a threat. With the Wagner brothers balling and shit, there's enough down there to make some noise in the East.
And what's his name? Played on the Lakers and he played on the Nuggets.
Oh, KCP?
Yeah.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
Ewing got him.
Yeah. Caldwell
I thought that was
Pope.
a good
He's a
move.
good
I thought
3
that
and
was a
D.
good move,
He's a good
man.
3 and D guy for sure. You need some shit like that come the playoffs. So then you're looking at everybody's favorite storyline in the East right now at number 6, Miami. What are they going to do with Jimmy Butler? The hell are they going to do with Jimmy Butler? Figure it out, Miami. That's your only option because he's at this point he's already kind of been a cancer, but he was winning. But now that he's backing off his competitive edge and he's still going to be a cancer, he's got to go.
I don't really see them getting any better without him, though.
No,
Even though he
they're
is a
not gonna get
cancer,
better
I
without
expect
him.
them to kind of fall out.
Sure, I agree with that too, but I just think that for the overall betterment of the team, the sooner you
Yes.
cut that out, the better. The sooner you start to heal, right?
Right.
Yeah, you got to get somebody in there to pair up with Bam and Hero. I mean, Hero's not a bad point guard, and I like Bam. I think you
Well,
Bam's getting older too.
Yeah,
Adebayo
that's what
is-
you got to. He's
yeah.
been in the league quite a long.
No, I think he's 10 years plus now.
like
And then 7, we'll just run 7, 8, 9, 10 at the end is Indiana, Detroit, Atlanta, and
Dude.
Chicago.
Where the fuck's going on with the Pacers, man? I think we all thought that last year the way they finished with the trades they made, getting the dude from the Raptors.
No, you know what? You know what's hilarious, and I fucked it all up. Is where Philly is sitting at 11.
You don't need to talk into the mic that close, Chuck. He's touching it with his lips.
I know.
I absolutely have been. Hold it for me so I can screw it back in. Hold on, please.
Well,
Gotcha.
dude. They just the Paul George thing. He's old. He's not old. He's not young, Paul George. So it's not like you're getting like the big 3 isn't that big of a 3. Plus, none of us are real big fans of Embiid.
Not
Does
anymore.
Embiid make our shit list? I was thinking about
We've
that.
talked about him a couple of times as for candidacy.
All good. Back in action. Also, technical difficulties. You'll notice we're not wearing the headphones.
It's been a tough stretch.
Yeah, cable is bad. We ordered a replacement, tried to fix the old one, did not work. So here is where we are.
So if it's a little rough if it's a lo-fi pod,
Where
apologies.
Where is the Phillies? Not the Phillies.
They're right after that.
11. They're not even in the play-in.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
No, yeah, I want to say that I have love for Embiid because when he's healthy, he's great to watch. But
MVP. But attitude and just the way that he conducts himself, really.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan. I'd put a vote on him for being on the shit list. I would 100%.
He's leaning towards candidacy for me for sure. I've not liked what he has had to say this season, and
Yeah, if they can clear all that up, then Philly could be that team that somehow puts a run together and sneaks in if they're healthy. But that's a lot of ifs.
You know where they're going. They're sneaking off to what the boys say, going fishing. They're toast.
Banana boat.
Let's jump to the West, boys. Give me some West rundown. I know that SGA be rolling in the fucking number 1 seed, but number 2 is fucking surprising. And I know Chuck, I think, had him maybe higher than anybody.
No.
Trev did.
Yeah, it was Trev. I had him making the playoffs, but I didn't have him at the 2nd seed, which right now Houston is sitting in the 2nd seed.
OKC's only got 6 losses. That's
no,
impressive.
they're nasty, dude. They're right there. Clearly, the Cavs and the Thunder are the 2 best teams in the league right now. Your record says who you are, especially in the NBA. It's very different than it is in football or baseball sometimes. You're one swing of the bat from being down 4 runs and same in the NFL, you're 1 turnover away from losing a game at the end of the game. Where the NBA, you have to be way more consistent to win every. 1 turnover is not going to break the game, right? In the NFL, that can. Anyway, what I'm saying is Houston, good for you. Memphis, we were all down on Memphis, and they are in the 3 seed right now. Denver just kind of pacing at 4. They're fine. They're fine with hanging out right there now.
They need to if they don't get there this year, their roster might need to be remade around Joker. Those other dudes don't ever seem to be showing up. Russell Westbrook's showing up now.
He's having, dude. Apparently, I heard the stat that when he has a triple double, they win 75% of those games.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I know you don't know because we haven't been watching any NBA. Because the product is fucking rough.
But the rest of that roster doesn't seem to be ever do anything.
No, he drags them along. If he's not putting up a 40 burger, not that Jamal Murray can't play, but Porter Jr. has had an underwhelming season so far. Aaron Gordon, after signing a contract there, has been good, not great this year. That's why they're in 4th. In 5th is Dallas with Luka and Kyrie both on the mend right now. So that team's kind of trying to just keep pace. And then in 6th, making the last not playing spot is the Los Angeles Lakers.
Hanging on.
Yeah, hanging on. The trade that we broke a couple days on pods or a couple weeks ago on the pod. Great trade defensively. We are a little bit beat up.
Yeah, getting rid of Russell was the right move.
And we're a little beat up kind of in our our front court. We should be getting Vanderbilt back soon. That's another defensive player. Dalton Connect's been kind of hit or miss lately. I've been kind of watching his minutes.
That's kind of rookie.
Yeah, it's kind of rookie. But, I'm really enjoying what you're seeing with some of the other guys. Reeves goes off here and there. Christie's starting to step up, which I'm happy about too. So you're starting to see it. You just need another person to explode. You need an actual 3. Reeves shouldn't be your 3. You need somebody else. And LeBron, for how I feel about GM LeBron, player LeBron doing this at his age right now he's not playing really
he had
defense,
a hand switching dunk that was so nasty the other night, dude.
Yeah.
Say what you want about the guy, and a lot of people do, but he's clearly the only one that you can even debate in the GOAT, whatever side of the coin you fall on. I know you smirk. I see the small smirk under your beard because you're probably thinking Kobe's in that argument as well. As a Lakers fan, which you can make that argument, and a lot of people do. But what I'm saying though is we've not seen this. Vince Carter at 40 was not this at all.
LeBron's taking care of his body well.
Yeah.
Well, he knew that he wanted to play basketball at a high level for a long fucking
some
time.
of those injuries too, like when your knees and stuff go, some of that shit's just fucking.
You can't do much about.
Remember
No, when your ligaments are weak, there's literally nothing you can do about
to
it.
get that shit worked on.
He tried to do as much as he could, because he blew out of shit towards the end of his career.
After that, you got the Clippers, the T-Wolves, Sacramento, and your Golden State Warriors, buddy. 19-19 with tied.
This is what I kind of worried about. They're kind of falling back to.
They are
just
mediocrity.
You guys need another dude, and it's not Butler. You need another dude, just kind of like the Lakers need another dude.
Yeah.
But what are you guys? Are you guys surprised that Minnie's sitting there at 8? I mean, I thought the move to Randall would have. That can't be that much of a diminishing. They got to be not playing good in other spots. AE went for like 50 the other night in a loss.
But overall, he's only been okay this year. He hasn't been game breaking yet. No, we're only 30 games. Shit, we're almost halfway through. We're almost 40 games in. Yeah. So I mean, now's the part of the season where if you're gonna,
who are you gonna be?
Right, yeah,
dude,
exactly.
Phoenix,
you don't want to let your identity linger much further than this. Like,
Phoenix is 18-19. The Spurs are 18-19.
Fucking Phoenix, dude. That fucking team, man.
Yeah, I know. What the fuck is going on there?
I don't know,
It's just
dude.
a big
They
shit
are
show.
literally just saying, "Oh well, we're still in striking range, so don't worry." And then they'll try to they'll try to do the veteran thing where with like 20 games left, they'll try to rip off 15 of them or whatever to get in like the 8th or 9th seed. But I don't know. You guys saw that coming from a mile away. I was still, I don't think I had them very high in this year's rankings, but. I think it goes to show you that even though the NBA has the smallest of rosters, it is definitely a team game. Like, they have 4 names there, but they don't play well together.
Yeah, that needs to be blown up.
Why if the name? Who cares
Who's
what
the
the
fourth
names
name?
are if you're not winning, dude?
Who's the 4th name?
Beal. Bradley Beal. They moved him over.
Yeah, but then who's the 3rd name?
Oh, because they moved out. Because they had Booker, Durant, Beal, and who was the 4th that they were paying?
That's what we're asking you.
That's what I'm saying, too. They had a 4th. I want to say they had a 4th. They had to have moved. I originally know they had
dumped
Ayton,
the
but they
center.
dumped Ayton, yeah. Well, that was an easy
That's
dump.
what I thought you might be thinking of, but
DeAndre Ayton wasn't. I mean,
Well,
he was
Charlie
okay.
thinks of that.
At one point, it was Chris Paul, but they moved him to
yeah, he's playing in
San Antonio. Yeah, he's
kind of playing.
He's lobbing up shit to Wemby.
Yeah. Other than that, keep your eye on it. I mean, we're still young in the basketball season.
Well, you'll
Trade
see.
deadline's not over yet.
I was going to say you'll see some. The NBA is very, very movement orientated around the trade deadline. You always see probably 4-ish. I would say is the average. The last 2 to 3 days of that. So good shit, guys.
Before we close out first segment, I do want to give a shout out to the A's signing Rooker to an extension.
Oh.
The A's are still paying some dudes, so
Trying to compete in Vegas.
See what happens.
Or close to.
No,
Eventually.
Sorry, you're in Sac right now.
They're renovating. They're renovating for you in Sacramento.
They
Maybe
are.
they're making a pitch to keep you there.
That'd be sick.
Keep
Dude,
them
2 hours away.
Yeah,
That would.
That'd be legit.
I mean, it's not to say
I'd like
that
it more.
Sacramento's the capital of California. It's not a small city. They could easily house the A's. You know what I mean?
It'd be BA, dude.
Okay,
It'd
well,
be way better than
stay
Vegas.
tuned for that breaking news if that
No,
might happen.
They've already dumped the fucking building. The money's already been
in LV is what you're saying? Okay, yeah. Well, all right. Segment 2. See you soon.
Welcome back to Balls and Brews. Cheers, boys.
Cheers, gents.
Look at the color of this
I
fucker.
love the color of Marzens.
Sorry,
I went the wrong way around my mic, so it was my fault. Smells exactly like what I'm expecting.
Yay.
Oh, that's good.
Yay.
Dude, the body on that is fucking amazing.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, yeah. That's like the best version you can get of a Marzen.
Dude, that's really, really good.
Sometimes the one things I don't like about
Crazy
Oktoberfest
Trev.
is that they're
I push it to the limit.
push it to the limit.
We
We got two different renditions at the same
That's
time.
what we did.
But it's like the best version of a Marzen you can get. Sometimes Oktoberfests are a little thin on the body, it's not.
This is it.
Way to be. Once again, Auburn Ale House showing out.
Dude,
Prost.
shelling out.
Drinking at 5.2. So, classic Marzen in the sense of it's a session beer. It's meant to be drank All day.
All day.
All day. All day, every day.
All I do is smoke weed. All day.
So, last Monday was what they call Black Monday, firing of coaches. The Pats fired what's-his-face on Sunday.
Gerard Mayo.
I was
What's his
surprised he got fired because I kind of felt like this was the season everyone thought they were going to have.
See, here's what I think.
I know exactly what you think because it's exactly what happened. When they okay, go ahead. Yeah, I'll let you tell it.
Last year, when they hired Mayo, it was like after the season because they fired Belichick.
Just say it. Get to the point.
Vrabel hadn't been fired yet. Vrabel was a late firing, if you guys remember last year.
Yep.
So Vrabel wasn't available for the Pats at that point unless they were going to dump Mayo there. And then...
Oh, and you don't do that. They could not have done that. Hired him and then less than like 2 months later dumped him. That would, oh my God, those optics would even be worse than they are now.
And then now they said the team didn't improve, this and that.
Of course it didn't improve.
They're not
It was the worst roster in the NFL. It was from top to bottom. It was the worst. Name me a superstar on that team. Name me one.
Drake May's going to be one, and Christian Gonzalez.
And Gonzalez, if healthy, is their only potential superstar. Darake Maye has got a good way to go.
Dude, we talked about this kind of off-pod. Dude, this is a crazy thing, man. We could have went 5 for 5 on first-round draft picks, quarterback-wise, for their teams.
Well, yeah, because technically you can't assess. Well, there were 6, but you couldn't assess McCarthy because he blew out his shit in preseason.
Correct. So the 5 that have started,
it's still a little early to assess any of them, but it's looking good.
It's looking good. Yeah, right. Penix have starts, but you saw the tangibles.
He's got an arm, dude.
You saw Drake May had tangibles. You know, that's why he wouldn't
got the tangibles.
So let's go through all 6.
It matters in the NFL.
So there's 5 now.
Your measurables matter in the NFL. Way more than any other sport.
So you had the Patriots, right? Fire went first. Jets obviously had an opening. Bears obviously had an opening. Saints obviously had an opening. And then the Jags fired Peterson. And then on
they needed to. They needed to last year.
Dude, he's obviously not.
He got his chip and he's out. He got his one famed season in Philly, and that's what you are in the NFL. Not that season won't live in infamy, but that's what your career is.
Didn't Frank Wright leave for Indianapolis after that?
They shat the bed.
I don't know. I thought he got a raw deal.
Do you think
he was terrible? They won like 4 games under him.
No, they were good.
Right,
the Wentz thing, and then after the next year, then they were bad, and they fired him because he was mad about the Wentz.
You're talking about Peterson still?
Yeah.
No, Frank Wright. When he went with the Colts, they were good
for one season once again, and then they fell off immediately.
No,
and then he got ran out of town and got a job. Where did he get a job?
Carolina,
and was terrible there.
Well, he wanted to draft C.J. Stroud.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry that they didn't let you, but I don't know.
But okay.
Anyway, sorry.
So, and then the Raiders fired on Tuesday. So you had
that
6
was
openings.
Another one that'll surprise me a little bit. I mean. It was spoke on. Yeah, you wanted it. It was spoke on that it probably would have been better under O'Connell, under center for the full season. Correct. But still, like, you guys weren't able to bring in that quarterback. Other than like Raider fans, I don't know if anyone outside of that had real high expectations for your team.
But it was the way
especially in the AFC West.
It was the not starting of the O'Connell. It was the pushing of the Luke Getsy. It was your coaching in general through the
your
season.
Ownership. The Davis family has just been off for a while. Well,
what Mark Davis was doing until now, Tommy and Richard Seymour involved. Once you got the coach and GM, he went hands off. So what they did was on
which I guess in a way is what I want my owner to do. Honestly,
the Telesco firing is all just
like Jody Allen lets John Schneider run the show. Good, bad, or indifferent. Like she understands that she can't interject as an owner because
And now I think Tommy and Richard Seymour are making these big time decisions too.
Good. Guys that know football that have been around it who have seen talent, are talented.
Well,
Jesus,
I think also
especially fuck you, Tom Brady.
Your top candidates. Your Ben Johnson. He's rumored that he wants the assistant GM from the Commanders because he's helping Peters whoever was Peter's right-hand man. That's who Ben Johnson would want with the Commanders to be the GM. Then you got
You're getting too in the weeds, bro.
Then you got Liam Conan, who's the next also mixed big-time offensive person. Probably is going to bring on the guy that was assistant GM with the Bucks next to Matt Light. So you're talking about all these pairings are coming. But I ranked them. They had the Pats as the number one. I had the Pats as number one opening because of ownership. Ownership usually never meddles, except for this year. And you have a quarterback coming up. The reason I didn't have the Bears at one, because ownership, you have the Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles friction there, and you don't really know what's going on there. So that's the reason.
Historically, the Chicago is where quarterbacks go to die.
Correct.
They have 6 recent Super Bowls in New England. The culture is very different. Like, as a head, and Vrabel, come on, that was the most obvious and easiest.
Yes, we all knew Vrabel was going to the Pats, so that takes that off.
Right.
I had the Jags at 3.
Okay, but I was about to say, just with the Bears, of course, you can worry about the ownership, but I feel like a coach that is confident in what they're doing feels like they can change that so quickly.
Well, I'm more worried about the Kevin Warren, Ryan Poles friction where you don't GM and president, not owner, like president kind of beef. Like, so, I don't know.
I understand what you're saying because you're worried more about the coach, and like, I'm not saying the players are below him, but in the chain of command, those below him are excellent. But those above him are going. That's where it all matters as a head coach. Because if you have like a swing in ownership and you can't predict that, no matter how decent you are as a head coach, you might get shit on.
Well, that's why you want that pairing of the GM and coach. Same vision, same like.
Hopefully, thing, straight up, dude.
And then that's why you have the battles. Well, that's why I had Jacksonville.
It's good when you hire them together.
So why is he still in fucking Jacksonville?
That's why Jacksonville was at 3, and I almost put him lower.
I feel like it should be lower, exactly,
because of the bulky thing.
God, he's a terrible GM.
I mean, there's a chance he's still out of there, depending if they get a guy that wants him out.
The Raiders just did that, where they fired their coach and then fired their GM a little later.
Right, because you do have, like, you get somebody in there that hopefully get Trevor Lawrence fixed, whatever happened. You have Brian Thomas, who was elite this year.
Great.
Trevor Lawrence is not devoid of talent.
Correct.
Like, that guy is a great football player. You just got to get him back to that stature.
Find it again.
Yeah.
And then there are pieces. There are pieces scattered throughout. Defensive back, the back, corners are not very good. They do have some defensive line that's good. Your offensive line probably needs to be reworked. But that's why I had them at 3. Raiders at 4. Saints at 5, and I think the Jets is at 6 because the only reason of ownership is so shitty there, and you don't know what the Aaron Rodgers situation is.
It's very cloudy.
It's New York. It's historically a hard market to be in unless you are successful.
So that's the way I ranked them.
So the only person who should go to New York is somebody who's already been through the media shitstorm, who knows the NFL and how it works. This should not be a first-time coach going to New York.
We should talk about that. Who you like for those jobs?
I think Aaron Glenn is the New York Jets coach because he played there. And
he's coming off a really hot season.
Yep. And I think that the Raiders have a real shot.
It fits their identity. They're not an offensive team.
I think Ben Johnson is down to the Raiders because there's a report that came out that he's enamored with Brady. He likes Brady. So, and he knows Brady's got his back with ownership because part of the ownership. Or I think Ben Johnson goes to only the Jags.
The vapors, homie.
But the Jags need to fire GM, and then Bears are the last team. He's not going to the Saints, and he's not going to the Jets.
If he doesn't go to your Raiders, who do you like as your next candidate?
Liam Conan, offensive coordinator from the Bucks.
Fired from the hip. You hear how quick he had that?
That's not a name that's being talked about.
Don't wink at me. I swear to God, don't you. I'll be a Huckleberry.
Look what he's done with that team. Baker Mayfield is a top 10 quarterback right
41 tuds. He's thrown 41 tuds this year.
Look at the offensive play calling. Look at the running game. It's not just throwing the ball down the field. You didn't have Mike Evans for a good 6 games, right? 6
I think it was
games.
like 4 to 6. I think it was 6.
You lost Godwin in week 5.
So Baker kind of drugged.
McMillan stepped up. Cade Otton stepped up. And then Mike Evans obviously is Mike when he does it. But then you had 2 running backs. I think he's my 2. Vrabel's obviously gone. After that, I had this little thing that I was thinking with Brian Flores. Let me get in on this real quick. Just give me a sec to lay this out. So say Sammy loses tomorrow, right? So you got Brian Flores.
We're talking about Darnold
Sammy
in
Darnold
Minnesota.
loses. Then you go for Brian Flores, and Brian's been with Sam now for this year, and he's seen him. So then you bring over also Josh McCown, who's the quarterback coach.
He is, yep.
With Brian Flores, and then you sign Sammy to the contract, and you have some pairing with Josh. Then you just got to find
city? Any city. You're talking about any open city,
well,
or
I was
which
actually
city in
talking
particular?
about Raiders is 4, but you can say any open city. Any open city. That's the also pairing I have in a theory with Ben Johnson. And I think I told you this. Did I tell you this?
No. Go.
Ben Johnson, right? What happens? We all thought Hendon Hooker doesn't blow his ACL as a number 1 draft pick.
Right. Well,
or not a number 1, but he's first round.
Right.
Or second round.
He's probably second.
So he's been in Ben's system for 2 years now.
And he's been the clear backup to Goff.
Right.
There's no reason for him to play.
So then what happens if that is another option at quarterback for a team?
He's got to get his due.
It makes a lot of sense if you go to a team that doesn't have a quarterback to bring him in.
I feel like I hope that regardless of what happens with Mr. Hooker, that he at the end of this contract finds a way to get onto a roster where he can push for number 1. Yeah,
I think because we all thought he was a first round.
He's got a great arm. He's got a great fucking arm, and he sees. The last time we saw him, it's been a while. He sees the field, and that's what you need out of a quarterback. Now, once again, the resurgence of Goff's career going to Detroit, you're fucking surging with that guy. You're not sitting that guy.
And it makes it more likely that he kind of gets pushed out.
He sees the juice, and then, he's on the way out. Yeah.
Because, they'll draft or get another quarterback eventually, but Hooker's not the heir apparent in Detroit.
Because they're not going to be able to sit on him long enough. There's no fucking way. Yeah.
And I think the Jags should go offensively, but you never know with that owner. And then if Bulky has any
Shad Khan is a weird owner, and Bulky's a terrible GM. I do not have faith in that leadership.
How confident are you guys that the Bears get an offensive coach? I just dropped 2. Is
Kingsbury
the next Bears coach?
No, because I don't. Okay.
Is Cliff the next coach?
No, because all of the potential interviews I've seen have all basically been defensive already.
What the fuck are you doing?
They don't know. Nobody knows.
The Bears don't seem like they know.
The Jaguars and Bears should both only be interviewing offensive coaches.
If the Bears knew anything as to what they were doing, they would have fired Eberflus in this offseason.
I think another spot that Aaron Glenn could land would be the Saints. So Saints and Jets are my
that makes sense. Absolutely.
I think
they fit his identity.
I think the Bears and Jags would be stupid to fucking hire a defensive coach. Stupid.
I think the other candidate that should be brought up for a lot of these teams is Brady. With the Bills. Coach? Yeah.
Owner coach?
The
offense.
Team,
coach another team. Joe Brady.
He's going to be owner coach quarterback.
Owner coach quarterback. Let's go.
No, but you look at the season without having that number 1.
That ball, you fired.
I think that he's really he's impressed.
Well, that's kind of is it Slowick a candidate too? Remember Bobby Slowick last year was
I think he still is. If
you're
looking to go offensive,
smack the Chargers in the playoffs. That never hurts for a resume.
Yep.
A 20-point win in the playoffs.
So that's another name. Bobby Slowick's another name.
And they seem to be hitting play calling wise. Stroud was finding.
That kid, that team.
Nico Collins, they
need to rework that.
Good.
Robert Woods is on the Texans still.
I know.
I love me some Robert Woods.
Sneaky good slot receiver.
Love me
that
some
guy.
Robert
If
Woods.
he's a vacuum. He can catch some insane
and he gets in
blocks.
I love how he blocks.
For a smaller dude, you got to give it. There's nothing better than a small statured wide receiver who gives you good blocks.
You guys,
especially in the fucking slot. That's the first guy you need to block on the outside.
Do you guys agree with the assessment that we all think the Bears are going to fuck it up, but they should
of
go
course,
offensive?
yes. No, the management has no idea what to do in Chicago.
And the Jags should go offensive as well.
Yes, both of those teams should go offensive-minded head coach. It would be better, I think, for their situation. Even
if you can get Trevor to be close to be a top 10 quarterback he was 2 years ago.
That's true. If you make him 12, then you're in the money. If he's 12 to 15, that team can be competitive. Because I agree. I agree.
Yeah, so it does make sense. And getting Caleb back to where you saw spurts of it, right? You saw spurts here and there. What Caleb could be.
We all know what Caleb is. It's just you got to keep him upright. He got sacked 70 fucking times this season.
Well, I think part of that's on him. He's not John.
I'd probably say a solid amount. With
20, if he got sacked 70, I'd say
that's
20, 25.
50 times then that you're blaming the offensive line for sacks.
And that's why they should go offensive coach for their head coach
And
position
offensive
because
line
you
in the
need
draft
that
for
kind
all
of
round.
direction for him and that team. You can add to that line and you can hope it gets better, but even if they do, I feel like the head coach is the difference in that situation.
100%, Trev. A good offensive coach fixes an offensive line without even drafting anybody.
Yes.
Well,
He
because
takes
they
a
also have
and
the
his
ability to scheme.
Yeah, the scheme can make up for a lot.
No understanding where the motion and where your players need to be in spacing, and not that offensive line is absolutely
Directing your
critical.
quarterback.
Let's look at this. So 14 teams in the playoffs, right? Give me a sec. 14 teams in playoffs.
How many
Sean
got offensive
McDermott's a
coaches?
defensive coach with an elite quarterback.
Quinn,
Hold on. You have Harbaugh is a special teams coach with an elite quarterback. The Steelers defensive coach with an okay quarterback. They just got smashed. Barely moved into the playoffs. Chargers offensive coach, elite quarterback. They lost, but still an offensive coach. Sean Payton, offensive coach, probably losing. Andy Reid, offensive coach. That's one defensive coach. That's two defensive coaches and a special teams coach, other than everybody else offensive. In the NFC, Eagles offensive coach. Dan Campbell is a tight end. He's kind of a hoorah guy. He's kind of off to the side. He's not really offensive.
He's more motivator
Correct.
than your scheme guy.
Correct. Matt LaFleur,
Texas.
that's why he's
offensive
got
coach.
Ben Johnson, which is why he's got to get the chip now. Because once he leaves, who knows what that team's going to
You
turn
have Ben
into?
Matt LaFleur, offensive
they're gonna
coach.
bring in.
Kevin
Yeah,
O'Connell,
exactly.
offensive coach.
Right.
Sean McVay, offensive coach. You have one coach in the NFC that is not
In
an offensive
theory, that
coach.
whole NFC owes their fucking due to Sean McVay.
Correct.
That whole tree is just everywhere. That West Coast Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, it's the
too.
same. It's the bleed over, and that shit's been from that tree for a while now. That's how those coaches work, and obviously you see when it does work. Nakua is the truth, and if Stafford stays upright and gives him the ball, the Rams are going to be fucking hard to stop.
We'll find out tomorrow.
Yeah. But, I mean, if you look,
Kyron Williams is a good back. Like, I hate to shine the shine on LA, but
Always.
I just feel like that team is going to be sneaky in these NFC playoffs.
which one? Sorry.
The Rams.
Yeah. Well,
They got to get out. They got to beat this Vikings team that blitzes the fucking piss out of the ball. So Stafford's going to have to understand his hot routes, which he traditionally does.
Is the key to this game.
As far as blocking, are you talking about like
running,
blitz pickup and yards on the ground?
running
because the
football.
blitz pickup's good. You're going to have to
But
have
he's
it,
gonna
yeah.
have to run the ball to keep you. Gotta if you can
to
get
back
a-
him up,
if
to
you
back
get-
him up,
if
to
you
get him
get a
off the line of scrimmage,
if
for
you
sure.
Get a solid,
for sure.
If you can get a solid run game and they can't just key on Stafford, that's going to change the game. The run game in this game is way important. So we're jumping to playoffs, obviously. So we're talking Vikings and
Rams, which is technically the Monday nighter. That's the furthest out.
I think that is the Vikings are going to just need to be.
Darnold needs to win this game. For his career to stay on a good path, he needs to win
think
at
so,
least
too.
this game.
Well, we talked about this off pot. I feel like if he wins, the Vikings re-sign him.
I think the fan base says absolutely. We haven't won a playoff game. You know.
if he loses, then he can be that commodity.
What about a
or
close loss? What about like a heartbreaking last second field
I think
goal
he's
loss? Not
got-
like a blowout loss, you know?
I think
He's got to win. He's got to win. He's got to.
I think he wins.
I don't
he gets-
disagree.
I think if he wins, he gets that upper 40, maybe low 50 3-year extension type contract. I think if
he's getting 40. He's getting 40.
I think if they lose,
Whether it's from the Vikings or a hungry team.
well, 42 is his franchise. They could just franchise tag him for 42.
No, but he can also refuse that because he can get a longer deal somewhere else. Once again, he's only 27. We talked about this off pod.
Well, he can't. He might not sign the
Exactly.
but
Yeah.
I don't see him doing that. I see him signing it if they franchise tag him.
$42 million is a lot. to
it's a
pass
good
up.
situation for him.
It is. It
yes.
is. Yeah.
But yesterday we had two games, not good games. Ravens
They weren't.
smoked the Steelers. Which when we get into off-season talk,
They were both
that's a
smokes.
real
They were both 3-score games.
That
Well,
Steelers-
2-score in the evening. It should have been a 3-score.
that Steelers conversation is going to be huge on what they do at the quarterback position because none of them are signed. They went 0 for 5 in the last 5 games. Ravens move on. They actually play called good. They didn't.
Good.
They
They
ran the fucking
actually
football.
play called good.
Well, because remember last
Gotta
year
play
they ran
call
the
good.
football and they
Gotta
got
play call good.
smoked.
Yep.
Well, yeah, no. Derrick Henry, they had 298 yards total on the ground between Henry and Jackson and a little bit of Hill.
A little bit
But-
of Hill caught a big pass out of the back.
You sure did. Yeah.
And then the other game, the Chargers they looked like they dominated the first quarter, in start of the second quarter. They gave it
once they lost the momentum.
Their offensive line was not good, dude. Herbert took a fucking ton of hits.
He threw 4 picks.
He was getting hit.
We haven't seen Herbert look. I mean,
That
it was
rattled
the good
him.
and bad side. There's plays that he made in that game that most of the quarterbacks in the league cannot make.
Justin
and then there was
is
just
still a fucking
issues.
beast.
Well, he was just getting, dude. The Texans front four just absolutely Mario Edwards, Will Anderson, the dude from the Vikings. They absolutely dominated.
Danielle Hunter.
Yep.
They dominated the fucking Chargers offensive line.
And that is why there's so much equity put into that. If you can break up an offensive line, like if you can get in their head and rattle, if you can get 6 sacks, if you can average like 4 to 6 sacks a fucking game, you're gonna win almost every fucking game. Like,
look at what the back end of the Texans looks like too.
oh yeah, with
We kinda talked
Petrie
about
and Singletary Jr. Yeah, no, they've built. They've drafted very well.
Singleton Jr. might have taken over the number 1 corner from that draft. What's his name wasn't very hot last year.
Sauce, well, he was hurt.
Well, and he didn't.
No, Sauce was good. Sauce was still
Singleton
good.
is looking like
But
a
he was
fucking
just
great call
Singletary,
at 4
yes.
now. And then they got the other corner that's playing well.
No, Stingley. Sorry,
Stingley
Jr.
Jr.
There you
Yes.
go.
No, let's correct it. Stingley.
He's just not. He's locked down. He's not a throw to. He's an All Pro this year.
Healthy. That's what they thought. Yeah, they just knew coming out of the draft it was about health.
Derek Stingley Jr. Yeah, so
yeah,
he's
there it
locked
is.
down. So when you have elite corners and you can let your 4 just dominate, it gives you so much more. Their defense is finding
Once
some type of
again,
rhythm.
you're preaching the premium positions, the edge rushers and cornerbacks.
Yeah.
That's why they get paid, the bukus.
Cash money.
Oh, for sure. Because when they can do stuff like that to your team, it changes the way that you call the game.
But also, the Chargers have nothing on the outside. You have
Lad, he's their weapon.
Bald, though. He had 195.
He was great, but they didn't have another go-to.
No, I know,
else.
I understand.
Will Disley had a ball hit.
And
in
what
the
good
hands,
does
popped up for a
personal
pick.
stats mean when you get blown out by 20? Like, I guarantee you he wanted a closer game
That's
than
that's
that.
why you got dude. T. Higgins has got.
Oh,
man, Herbert's got to be like
They've salivating
T. Higgins.
at that.
Hey, T. Higgins, we got to go.
Cut Derwin James,
We
give
gotta
me
go
that
get T.
cap, and go get T. Higgins.
Yes.
No, I'd rather cut Bosa over.
Fair enough. Whatever. What I'm saying is cut
Go
one of
give me
these
T.
veteran
Higgins.
guys on defense that you're paying a little much for, and go and get this guy that will be a game-changing
T.
guy.
Higgins and Lad McConkey, and then you
Would
draft
be
a tight
great.
end.
It takes that offense to another
Quentin
level.
Johnson did take a step forward. Don't fucking wink at me.
I'm
he took a
s-
step forward.
It's
He
it's a baby step.
I don't know
That's a
what
baby
what
step.
kind of step we
disappeared
talking
during a
about?
couple of games. No, he had some really bad drops. I'm not saying he didn't, but if you look at his stats,
the most important-
he quadrupled his touchdowns.
Oh Jesus! He
He
was
had
awful
one his rookie year. No, I know, but I'm just.
The most important part of his job is to catch the ball, and that's an issue.
Season then fine. I will give a name you can't refuse. Rashad Bateman. He had 8 touchdowns this year and 800 yards. How about that? We weren't, but I'm just telling you that look, Quentin Johnson had an okay year for Quentin Johnson. Okay, thank you, Johnston.
He's still not reliable. They still need somebody else.
I don't think he's a number 2. I don't think he's a number
he is
2.
either, Trev.
Fine, make him a number 3.
He's not that either.
Nah,
He's not a
Your tight
starter.
end, the tight end you're going to draft out of fucking Michigan. Loveland will be your number 3 this year when you take him in the first round.
I mean, it depends on how the draft falls, of course, and what receiver tight
Harbaugh
end is
went
there.
typical with all. We all had.
Or
We knew
offensive
he wanted the
line.
offensive lineman.
He's going tight end for Michigan. He loves that guy.
Loves them.
Loveland?
Loves them.
love
Loves the love land.
Loveland.
Love.
What other games we got going today? So right now, what is the score
It's
of the Bills? What's the score of the
Eagles
Bills
Commanders.
game? We got Eagles. No, Eagles.
Sorry, Eagles. Green Bay Packers. The Packers.
I
Yeah.
really need the Packers to win this game. I do not want the Eagles to get that far. Bills are up 13-7. Boys liking that call. Loving that.
Liking that, loving that.
Liking it, loving it.
Those who took the over ain't liking it, loving it.
How about
It's 51 and a half was the over coming into this game, and you're sitting at 20 points midway through the third quarter. If not,
Buffalo just scored. They're up 19 now.
Let's get that over.
Got that 6.
Dude, I think Buffalo gets this dub, but
This makes sense. They had the one game-breaking play on the first drive, and then Buffalo was like, "Yeah, that's what you get," and then
Locks it down.
Yeah, they're the much better team at home. They haven't lost at home, And
dude, they play different up there, and that's why.
I don't know how you could. That's one of the best home advantages. That field for sure. Bills Mafia is fucking nuts.
That's
dude.
why, like, trying to get that 1 seed and have KC come in is
right. That's what they wanted, and they had the head to head. They just couldn't. That was the only game KC lost. Fuck, Kansas City won in the most miraculous ways this season, dude. They had like 7 different ways they won.
Luck's got to ride out sometime. Charlie Roscoe.
I'm not against it.
Out next week.
Hope so.
Dude, I'm not against
Are they
it.
playing next week?
I don't know.
Before I said that.
Well, it won't be the 7th seed. The 4 seed one, it would be the Texans. Right now, it's gone chalk. So far, all home teams have won.
Yeah, Ravens, and then so Bills win, and then the other team
then that's all AFC.
That's all
so that would be
AFC.
chalk. So they would play the Texans. Yeah.
Fuck, they're not gonna win next week.
The Chiefs or the Texans?
Texans.
Dude,
They're not beating the Chiefs.
You don't know that.
Chiefs.
You can speculate. You can speculate heavily, but you do not know.
I'm very heavily speculating on 99.9% sure that the Chiefs are beating the Texans in KC.
I
is not a
honestly,
slip-up
I
game.
can't disagree with you there, but
That is not a slip-up game. The Chiefs are going to come out and put up like 30.
They're going to want to put boot in ass for sure.
They're getting healthy. They're getting healthy. Offensive line is still one thing that they need to fix.
I wish deep down I have to admit that I like what the Chiefs have done.
Oh, it's amazing.
And I hate it.
It's amazing.
I hate it so
You literally
much.
now have maybe the greatest coach and maybe the greatest quarterback on the same fucking side. Ever. Andy Reid. Andy Reid, yeah, he lost in Philly.
As a
Dude, he went
fan,
to so
you
many
never
NFC
fear
championship
losing
games.
a game. And if you do, you're like, oh, okay, whatever. Won.
Right.
Like, you know, they win in just, they just do it, man. They just, fuck. Like, golly, it's irritating.
Dude, it would be if the Chiefs do end up getting a three-peat.
Right.
That's something that we've never seen before.
Sure.
That would be something we
That
get
is
to see.
history. Yeah.
It is. Elite. We always talk about we want to see elite be elite, but I want Buffalo go win the championship.
J.A.
That's my guy.
Hey, man.
Chuck Stills want to get
he's
on
a
board.
great
That's all right.
quarterback. He's a
It's
great
all right.
quarterback.
You
No,
don't-
I'm
the train's left the station.
Lamar deserves to win the MVP.
Disagree.
Disagree.
We'll see what happens on NFL Honors.
Also, we got the NFC games. You got Eagles, Packers. You got Vikings, which we already
Rams.
talked about, Rams, and then you got the
The Nighters, the Commanders, Bucks.
Commanders, Bucks, dude.
Which is a weird Nighter. Why didn't you do that in the afternoon?
I think you guys went against me on this. I think Bucks get that dub. I think Bucks get that dub.
I was on the
I think-
Commanders more
I know.
so. I think
Bucks get that dub. I think they're offensively just rolling, and defensively they do enough to get it done. I think the Bucks are in Tampa. In Tampa, they didn't have to travel. I don't think the Bucks win next week. I think the Bucks get it done this week and get a dub against the Commanders. I do. I think Baker and that team, like, he has found his rhythm. It's going to suck when he loses his offensive coordinator for second year in a row because his last offensive coordinator went to the fucking
Canales,
Panthers.
Head coach.
So I think he's losing Conan, whether it's to my Raiders or somebody else. I do think, though, that you got a third offense coordinator, and I think Bake's been playing really good this year, so that's huge. But I think you get this dub. You probably won't win next week, but you get this one.
I mean, Bucky Irvin's been pretty great on the ground for them. That
Dude,
I wouldn't.
such a good
It wouldn't
match.
be a surprise.
Bucky Irving, Rashad White.
If they do, I just the Commanders, man, they're just exciting, and I'm kind of hoping they win, but I don't know if they're really the better team.
Dude, next year, if they can maybe get another free agent and they can hit a good draft next year, that team has a chance to be really, really good.
Yeah.
And then what are you thinking on the Eagles Packers? Is it all Eagles Packers just kind of hurting at the wrong time, losing Watson? What's your feelings there?
Go for it.
I think Philly's going to win the game. I think
they're the more talented team.
I think the Packers could win this game, but
That was a really bad job.
It was a really bad job.
I thought you didn't have any left.
I didn't
You
either.
just- Did you
And then I
just
just
literally just turn it over and hope for the best?
I just nervous for it. I said, oh,
So bad.
I'm nervous for it. How much just left?
I said, oh, shit.
wow.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, with the Eagles, though, yeah, I feel like they should be there. They should be the team that's playing the Lions for the NFC.
Dude, yeah, dude, I do not want to see it. I really want the Packers to get this dub. I just don't know if they will, man.
The Packers, yeah, they just they make it hard to trust at times.
They do.
Look, if they can control the game with Josh Jacobs and they don't have to stress Jordan Love to throw too much, they can absolutely keep up in this game.
They still can be competitive.
If their defense gets broken by Saquon and AJ, then you have to play a shootout game. They're not built for a shootout right now.
I think it's more broken by Saquon and Hurts.
Oh, right. He's coming back. You know?
What is Hurts going to do on the ground? Is he going to be nervous on the ground because he just got the concussion?
So,
that's another big play in that defense because then you're not focusing on the quarterback
Philly's got
run.
Fucking talent everywhere, dude. If they click, it's not even close on this matchup. Not that Green Bay doesn't have talent, but they have...
It's young talent.
Yes. And it's very sporadic talent. Sometimes they look amazing, and then other times they all disappear.
That's why it's Wicks, inconsistent.
Watson he's hurt. Jaden Reed gave me 0 points my opening week of playoffs. 0.
All of them kind of been inconsistent. They almost are like that T. Higgins way. If you have to trade like the Dubs,
that would not be honestly, Jordan Love would fucking love that move. Absolutely.
Just kind of somebody because last week they got beat by man. Man coverage dominated. They dominate zone because of how many receivers they have.
Because you have 3 to 4 options at any time.
If you go man,
if you lock them up, right? If you press them and you can jam them, good.
It's been all year that the
and
Packers
with Jordan
don't
Love
do
having the ankle,
he's limited in the movement.
So I mean, and that Eagles pass rush, they've gotten younger, dude. Jalen Carter's going to be hungry. Nolan Smith's
Look how many motherfuckers they got. Braun got the fucking All Pros. Right, the middle linebacker, dude. They got some stuff going on.
I'm pulling for Philly. I think that they're coming out of the NFC. If I'm being
honest, I'm not pulling for Philly ever in my life.
I am.
I'd rather pull for Detroit.
Yes,
I'm not against the Detroit story.
Or the Packers.
Detroit Buffalo is like the best matchup we could get.
Eagles,
or like Vikings Buffalo just for history. Somebody's got to get a chip.
The Eagles are the last team in the motherfucking NFC that I'm rooting for.
Okay,
last.
There it is.
Just
in case everybody was wondering, last.
Long margin too. I'd rather have every other team in the NFC win other than the freaking Eagles.
So last week our fandom was about live TV shows.
Yeah.
This week our fandom is about animated TV shows.
I'll start because my list might be a 10, small. But I got a good one. I got a good list. Let me run through it.
All right, let's get it. I'm about it.
Before we get to some of the anime stuff, obviously you got Batman animated series in the 90s.
Oh, great call.
Superman animated series in the 90s.
Batman Beyond, too.
X-Men animated series in the 90s. X-Men 97 as of recently.
Was incredible.
Batman Beyond. You got also these other Batman shows. The one that was kind of darker with the Joker kind of looked kind of weird. The bad guys look weird. That one was hella epic. It ran for... like 6 seasons. He gets Robin after a little bit. I really actually kind of like that one. Then you get Young Justice season 1, 2, 3, and I think there is a 4th, Epic with the sidekicks. That is a great one if you guys haven't checked that out. Young Justice with the sidekicks, Nightwing, Robin. Dude, really good. Season 1 and 2 are fabulous. 3 and 4 get going.
Fabulous.
Then, we'll jump into some of the animes. Obviously, Gundam Wing, it's like my favorite anime of all time. I love that one. I've watched it multiple times. I've watched all the DBZ Super and of DBZ Kai / regular DBZ. Dragon Ball, I haven't really seen much of, and either of GT.
GT is fucking OG. I know Dragon Ball is actually probably one that's held in the least regard. Like it got lapped a while ago, but the GT series is fucking still kept.
I think that's kind of I've watched some of those. We're not talking anime movies because then you get some of those, but anime shows. That's probably where I'm at. A whole lot of the '90s stuff. Oh, all the Avengers things on Disney Plus. Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Those cartoons
that's
are
a good
fucking
one.
Really good. I like the first one more than the second one.
You remember Beast Wars?
Beast Wars. I love Beast Wars. I watch it all the time. Got Grayson into it, and then the Beast Wars movie came out. Beast Wars is epic. Beast Wars I've watched on multiple occasions. I've watched all that shit on multiple occasions. All that X-Men, Spider-Man, all the Spider-Man stuff in the 90s.
97 was so good, dude. I'm so looking forward to season 2.
Yes, they did a great job with that.
They did. They killed every part of that. And the nostalgia factor was just bleeding out everywhere.
I have watched a couple other Gundams with Trev. I just don't remember which ones. But the Gundam Wing one still is epic. The other 2 that we watched were really good. Some of the other ones I can't get into. There's one on Netflix where they're like plugging in the back of their neck.
Some Matrix kind of shit.
Yeah, I don't remember which one it was.
Might have been the Animatrix.
But that's where I'm at with my animated shows. Still a good number of them, but more classics than what you guys are probably going to toss.
Fuck. All right. So there's a lot of anime that I enjoy. I mean,
are we gonna do anime?
Well, that's where I'm going.
All right.
That's where I'm going.
Okay, let's get it.
I mean, some One Punch Man.
Dude, the seasons have been incredible. The 3rd season has been teased for another 4 years. They take 4 years off in between fucking seasons is what they do. That's what they have done. Fuck. In 2025, we're due, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Fuck. Season 2 is great. One Punch Man is like... Saitama is a fucking great main character in a lot of different ways. Like... I like that when he went into that tournament, that shit was hilarious, dude.
Yeah, it's just a great mix of action and comedy.
Which is why that one offsets. It's not like super violent. It's not, but it's got good fights.
It has its moments.
It does. Well, yeah, but it's like it's still like childish violence. It's not like body dismemberment or like gore necessarily. Shit explodes, but like
there are some gory parts in that show.
Fair enough. It is a TV MA. But there's no like cussing. He just wants to play video games. He can't figure out how to beat the video game, dude. It's hilarious, dude. I vote One Punch Man. Yes.
Some other of my favorites. I mean, Hunter x Hunter is probably not one.
I couldn't get into Hunter x Hunter. It was so slow to start. I couldn't get into Hunter x Hunter.
It does start slow, but that one I do really enjoy that whole series.
There's a fandom behind that. You're not alone in that.
I mean, there's so many more though. Like
my single favorite anime, and I rewatched it not long ago, and I do every so often, is Samurai Champloo. That's a classic. And I love that they did. It is literally just one manga, one anime. They never tried to do anything off of it. No spin-offs, no secondaries, no anything like that. They did. It's 28 episodes is the season, and it's so fucking good, dude. The dynamic between the 2 main characters, and then the storyline progresses. Like, I don't want to give too much of it away. Watch Samurai Champloo. It's great.
Yeah,
fucking great.
I mean, if we're talking some old anime, Cowboy Bebop.
I just watched Bebop. I just rewatched Bebop.
It's all right.
I just watched Bebop like within like the last 6 months. Like, yeah, Spike is a great main character. Like that show's legit, and especially when it came out, that was like late 90s.
Yeah, for its time, I thought it was great.
Yes, there's some more answers from that show. I remember.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's just kind of playing off the kind of bounty hunter in
lifestyle.
Space.
Sure. Yeah. There doesn't need to necessarily be an answer, like, you know.
Well, for like the background, it all kind of wraps together, but yeah, the main story doesn't come together. It comes together really quick in like a few episodes, and most of the show is not about that. Right. Other shows though, like Spy Family, I enjoy that one a lot.
Never been.
It's worth a watch. There's some other ones too. I mean, Naruto is a classic if you like that ninja.
Out of the big three, I'm a One Piece guy.
One Piece is another classic.
I fuck with One Piece heavy. Like, there's some great arcs in that fucking show.
There's just so many episodes.
Oh, there's 1,000+. Yeah,
it's one of the longest series, if not the longest.
You can throw a dart and land in filler. Oh my god, there's so much filler in that show. So I understand why there's that. There's been a swing there. The pendulum has swung against One Piece kind of in recent memory, because there's just, it's so much filler for 1,000 episodes. Like, anime is the worst offender of filler episodes, dude. They'll have
They
a
can
50
be if you
fucking
have that
episode
long of
season.
a
Yeah.
That's
season
why watching
or
Dragon Ball
series.
Z Kai was amazing compared to
Because they
regular
wrap it
Dragon
up.
Ball Z. Dude,
There's
you don't have the
so
stupid
much
fucking
filler.
driving episodes.
They're just literally
Just
yelling at the sky for
driving episodes.
Well, like some Kamehamehas lasted multiple episodes. They literally would charge for like an episode and a half before they get to use it.
Man, on you, Chuck.
Wow. Okay, the real Zach comes out in pod 80, huh?
Dude, Grayson's playing that game, dude. Some of those
Spirited, Sparking Zero. That's
dude, some of those finishing moves.
I was about to say Spirited Away because we're talking about anime, so I'm thinking of fucking
pretty
Gilby. Studio Gilby's great, dude. Have you never seen like Princess Mononoke? Or oh man, you would love that storytelling in anime. Like there's like really action-based stuff, which is like your Gundam and whatever. But like
the Gundam
anime is like it covers so many fields, dude.
I know,
There is good storytelling in anime.
Gundam
Absolutely.
yes, I do agree with that.
Okay.
Gundam Wing storytelling is epic.
It's not you're right, but I know you love mech. I know you love like that genre of like Neon
Genesis?
Neon Genesis Evangelion. I just watched that like last year too.
Gurren Lagann is an old mech anime that is very good. I think you would enjoy that.
There's so many epic battles.
Yes, it's in English.
Boo.
I don't know, dude.
No booze.
I read that shit, dude.
Sub versus dub all day.
No.
Sub versus
Why
dub
do I want
opposite
all day.
Why do I want to read? I'm there to relax. I'm there to like take something.
It's a show. If I wanted to read, I'd get a manga.
Yeah, I'll read my fucking book, dude. I'm not.
Voice acting has come a long way since Godzilla, all right? We are not there anymore.
Correct. Thank you, Trev. I want to hear it in my language. I don't want to read that shit unless it's a movie where you have like there's movies where you have to read some stuff because you're going from English like to like
yes.
Fine.
Sure.
Fine. But if the whole thing's in one language, put the whole fucking thing in my language. Thanks, Trev.
No, with a lot of those quick-paced shows, it's just I feel like it's too much to read and watch.
It can be a lot.
I want to relax.
Trying to watch Van Helsing with all
in.
the fighting going on and reading what the fuck they're saying while they're fighting at like supersonic speeds.
Right.
Vampire Hunter D, shout out. Oh my
classic.
god, classic. 1 and 2 is phenomenal.
Devil May Cry had a show for a little bit. That cool was cool.
Dude,
was that a movie? That's a great
I don't
story.
want to poo-poo your opinion. You are absolutely allowed to watch.
And yeah, you can watch your
I have to
subtitles.
watch.
Go
I
for
do.
it.
I absolutely
But I'm not going to do that.
Yeah,
I have
I'm not
to.
doing
I have to. I can't get into the spirit of the characters when they sound English.
Charlie,
I just
you got,
can't.
what are your shows? Trev threw out his. I threw out
Well,
mine.
no, well, okay. I mean, my clear number one has been, dragged across this pod several times. South Park. It's not even close. Like as far as animation, that's my favorite show, period. So when we started talking about TV shows, that's why we separated it, because I was like, well, are we going, like live action or are we going anime? South Park is definitively my favorite animated show. As far as animes, Samurai
Are you guys
Champloo.
were you guys following like Simpsons, Family Guy, American Dad?
Never been a huge Simpsons. Like
I've
I
never been a
really
huge
don't.
fan
The
of any of them.
McFarlane.
I enjoy
the
some of that
McFarlane,
comedy, but
verse is
it's
it's not bad, but it's not.
I never really fell in love like with really any of it. Like it was all I watched.
Family Guy is meant to be clipped. It's perfect for this. Like there's
Generation.
like 12 seconds. There's like 12 to 15 second clips of Family Guy that are absolutely hilarious. But like going through full seasons sometimes is like, like.
Yeah, no, I before those shows, I'd bring up like Death Note. That's
This is one of the things that I watched start to finish. Dude,
Archer.
when Light dies, though, that
Archer's
whole arc
funny.
change. That
My
whole
brother
arc
watched
changes, dude. Like Light needs to stay in that fucking manga or in that anime, dude. Once he goes, the rest of it just kind of falls
Charlie.
off.
What so throw your shows out. We kind of cut.
Berserk, Blue
Oh,
Lock.
Berserk was great. Joe
Blue
back in
Lock.
the day had the whole Berserk. Dude, Eflin Lead, like there's some fucking great animes.
My Hero Academia. No,
Akira,
I think that's one you
if
would
you're
watch
talking-
or enjoy.
Yeah, that would be more up your alley for sure. Like, dude, I was thinking throwback stuff was like when I was a kid, like Hey Arnold, I was fucking big into, like that Nickelodeon run.
Invader
Like,
Zim.
Never really
No?
fucked with Invader Zim a whole lot.
Thundercats.
I never fucked with Thundercats either.
Voltron. I watched all that shit.
Recess, used to love
Recess,
that
I
show as
watched
a kid,
tons of
dude.
Recess.
Recess is a great fucking show, dude.
Tons of Recess.
Hey
Hey Arnold, Doug.
Doug, yes. See, these are
Doug.
the ones that we need to get into.
Patty mayonnaise.
Right? Yeah. No.
Doug's
but like,
crush.
yeah, South Park definitively. There was one on Netflix that I was trying to think of the name. What is
Rick and Morty?
Rick and Morty's fantastic. The first 5 seasons. Season 6 is. I understand, Zach. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in that show, like all the time. Like there's multiple storylines. The whole concept is that it's endless, right? Like the whole he's
multiverse kind of shit.
Like way beyond even like the multiverse and like the MCU.
That's why I didn't even dive in.
But yeah, Rick and Morty's great. It just sucks that Justin Roiland's a piece of shit. But like, sorry, that's a shit lister. I guess if we could put that up there. Anybody who essays is not a somebody we can consider a nice person. Anyway, about shows.
Not shows.
About
Bring
shows.
it back.
Adult Swim had me for a little while. We were talking about Aqua Teen Hunger Force the other night, and they're dumb as fuck. But there's some great lock of the week. Carl Stone Cold lock of the week. Metalocalypse. The first season of Metalocalypse was amazing. But if we're talking all timers, like. I still revisit Attack on Titan, the first season. I love
the first season.
I love the first season. It is.
Same with Promised Neverland.
I've never fucked with that one. You did get me into Sword Art. The first season of Sword Art is good, and then it fell off for me really quickly.
Yeah, but the end of the first season kind of is.
You killed it for me too. Yeah, agreed. Okay, speaking of like DC, I will punch you square in the throat. This is the third time you winked at me 3 times, you guys. Comment down below how many times you get winked at before you get pissed. The Harley Quinn DC adult that they did on Max, it's hilarious. Oh, it's hilarious. Like, especially if you know the universe, like, because you'll know the individual jokes that they're making about individual villains. Like, it's funny as shit.
I mean, Red Hood.
Oh my god!
Those aren't shows.
No, yeah, I was gonna say if we're getting into like the DC Doom is
an animated movie.
Justice League Doom is phenomenal.
TV shows.
Superman and Batman, Public Enemies, amazing.
Like all the war, all that stuff. So we're not into that right now. So next week we want to do regular movies or animated movies or food. Catch us.
Appleseed Ex Machina was a great fucking anime that I used to watch back in the day as well. That was more of like a movie as well. Fuck, dude, there's so many good anime. That's where Studio Ghibli comes to play. Howl's Moving Castle. You never fucked with that? You never seen Howl's Moving Castle? Oh, you'd like that. Dude, watch Studio Ghibli. You have my fucking HBO login. Which I'm grifting already, so it's a double grift. But, we make it work.
And she said, do we have this? I said, well, kind of. She goes, what do you mean? I said, well, Chuck put it on our TV, and
I was dog sitting Bo, and I wanted to watch South Park.
So you put it on.
Exactly. So I uploaded my login. Well, not my login. The login. And, But
me and Grayson watched all Young Justice again, dude. That's
what I'm saying. There's some great DC animated stuff. They don't do live action well at all. No, you like Arrow, and you mentioned all of that.
Yeah,
like that original DC Smallville was good.
The Arrowverse, that whole Arrowverse with Flash, Supergirl, dude. They did that really good for a long time. And then
I love South Park so much that I'm going to have a South Park tattoo. Like that is one of. I'm not it changed my sense of humor. Like that show is perfection for me when it comes to like conversations and just being able to like storytell. Okay, like they're so funny because they start off so juvenile and it was about dick and fart jokes and ha 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 people dying and whatever, and then they're almost like too woke. Like as they were going across the spectrum, they got to this like proper amount of wokeness, and now it's like almost too much. Where it's like, you just get back to the dick and fart jokes.
It does feel like it's focused on current events.
Oh, like to the nth degree. They've gone away from. Well, they've just done specials now. They haven't made a season, and even their last season was only 6 episodes. I don't even know if I call that a season for South Park because their old seasons were like 17 to 21 episodes roughly, like. And I understand why they don't anymore.
They don't need to.
Right. But golly, man, if you're going to keep it alive, keep it alive. That's just all I'm saying. I love South Park.
Let us know what you want us to talk about next week. Maybe we'll do pizza. Maybe we'll do movies. Our fandom is going to rotate to this more often where we kind of
Yeah, this was good. I like this.
We
thing.
kind of roll through these kind of different things, whether it's food,
sports fandom.
So whether it's food or whether it's movies.
Let us know about your favorite animated shows. My goodness, there's a million we probably forgot about, right?
Yeah.
Like we got some good ones.
I got a bunch up here, but yeah, there's so many.
Sometimes to unknot them, to get them in the back, you haven't thought about them in fucking forever. A Reboot? Do you remember a show called Reboot?
Yeah. What about the OG Power Rangers?
Of course, but that's not animated.
That's not animated.
TMNT, obviously the Teenage Mutant
Ninja
Turtles.
But dude, some of the new shit.
No, the new Turtles are terrible. I cannot stand
that
the
last
new Turtles.
movie.
They stripped
Splinter
out.
was like fat. When has Splinter been fat? That's
No, we're not getting into that. I hated that so much. I hated that so much. No, he learned his kung fu off of YouTube.
Yeah.
What the fuck, dude? Like they downgraded that character, dude. No, I can't. I don't want to bring this into the hate pod. We were doing so good showing
We'll
love.
have to do an animated movie section.
That one.
But the animated movie
Into the Shadows or Out of the Shadows, and they wanted to be popular. Couldn't stand that.
Is going to be dominated by some of those DC movies.
Yeah, dude. Well, I mean,
epics.
Yeah, those weren't even like necessarily commercial releases. Those were just like under the DC guys before and they're amazing. No, Justice League Doom is one of my favorite fucking animated.
We'll
movies.
talk about it later. We're gonna get into more sports next week, the playoffs, and
the Super Bowl is we're working towards it.
And then 2 weeks we'll have the college football final because that'll be 2 months.
The following Monday, right? Correct.
But we'll see you next week.
Buzzsprout, Spotify, YouTube. We did record this without our headphones. Wish us luck. We'll see you pod 81.